Good morning. And we just completed the other day the last of the stories from Treasure Trove, my greatest Olympic prize. So I am taking this opportunity to record my greatest Olympic prize. Maybe someone will need it who did not or could not attend the class. The story is set in 1936 Berlin Olympic. The world situation, political situation was becoming warmer and warmer. Hitler and his theory of Nazism claimed that they belonged to a superior Aryan race and all the races were inferior to the Germans. And because they were from a superior Aryan race, they needed more land to occupy so as to cleanse and purify the other races. We know what sort of treatment the other races, such as the Jews, were receiving in the hands of the Nazi. And this is a story of a black athlete, Jesse Owens, the grandson of a slave, and his everlasting friendship with a German athlete called Luz Long. I begin. It was the summer of 1936. The Olympic Games were being held at Berlin because of Hitler childishly, immature. These are immature people. They are big, but they are immature. Insisted that his performers were members of a master race, nationalistic feelings, nationalistic jealousy, competition. These sort of feelings were running high. But he says, I was not worried about all this. Why I was not worried about all this? He had done all his preparation before, keeping in mind the Berlin Games, and he had prepared for 6 years, disciplined, trained, sweated. While I was going on the boat, the only thing I could think about was to bring one or two gold medals. He says, I had my eyes specially on the broad jump, even as a sophomore, as a student. At the Ohio State University, he said he had clinched the record of 26 feet 8 and a 1/4 inches. Everyone kind of expected Jesse Owens to win. Idiom, hands down, without any doubt, without any competition. But he says I was in for a surprise. The moment I landed for the trials, he could see a tall boy hitting the pit almost 26 feet every time during the trials. His name was Luz Long, and he was told that Hitler had kept him under wraps, a secret to win this event. And he says if Long had won, then Hitler's theory of supremacy would have gained some credential, some justification. He says, being a Negro, he was a hot blooded person, hot under the collar. Idiom, easily angered. And he says he wanted to go and prove it to the Fuhrer, the father, referring to Hitler, because Germany is a fatherland, not a motherland. And he was determined, irritated, angry, and he wanted to prove it to Hitler that who was the real master over there. But then he says an angry athlete is an athlete who will make mistakes. And so he was not exception. For both the jumps, he fouled, he leapt beyond the jumping board, the takeoff board. And the only thing that was bothering him was, did I come so far to foul out of the trials? With this thought, he kicked at the dust disgustedly when he felt a strong hand on his shoulder. Turning around, he saw a friendly blue eyes. And Luz Long offered him a firm handshake. I told you the significance of the word firm, genuine handshake. Jesse Owens, I'm Luz Long. I don't think we have met. He spoke English well, though with a German accent. Glad to meet you, I said. Then, trying to hide my nervousness, I said, how are you? I am fine, but the question is, how are you? And what do you mean? Says something must be eating you, disturbing, bothering you. Very proud to have picked up a, a bit of American slang. You should always qualify with your eyes closed. Believe me, I know it, said Jesse Owens. And he said, I felt good that I could say it to someone. For the next few minutes, we talked together. I didn't tell Long what was eating me, but he seemed to understand my anger and took pains to reassure me. Although he had been schooled in Nazi youth movement, he did not believe in Hitler's Aryan supremacy theory. Neither did Jesse. But he definitely looked superior and supreme. Physically, at least, he was an inch taller. Lean muscular frame, clear blue eyes, blonde hair, strikingly handsome, chiseled face. And finally, when Jesse Owens calmed down, he gave him an advice. What was the advice? Please jump from behind the takeoff board. It will not matter if you jump a feet less. What matters is to qualify today. Tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow is the real day. There you show your skill. Jesse Owens followed that advice. Confidently, I drew a line full foot in back of the board and proceeded to jump. From there, I qualified with almost a feet to spare. And that night, he went on to the Olympic Village and paid a visit to Luz Long or Luz Long, whatever. And there they said there was a genuine friendship and they discussed so many things. When I finally got up to leave, we both knew that a real friendship had been formed. Luz would go out to the field to next day trying to beat me if he could, but I knew that he wanted to do my best, even if it meant my winning. As it turned out, Luz broke his own past record. In doing so, he pushed me to a peak performance. I remember that at that instant I landed from my final jump, the one which set the Olympic record of 26 feet, 5 and 5 by 16 inches. And he came up and gave me a firm handshake. Not a fake one. Despite the fact that Hitler glared at him not even 100 feet away. And that handshake wasn't a fake smile with a broken heart sort of grip. He says, you can well melt down all the gold medals and cups I have earned, but that would not be enough for the gold-plated friendship that I earned with Luz Long on that day. He says, I realized then too that Luz was the epitome, the symbol of what Pierre de Coubertin, founder of the modern Olympic Games, must have had in mind when he said, the important thing in the Olympic Games is not winning but taking part. Just as the important thing in life is not conquering but fighting well. And as I said, What is the significance of the title? My Greatest Olympic Prize. It is not the 4 gold medals that Jesse Owens won in the 1936 Olympics, but it is the gold-plated friendship that began between Jesse Owens and Luz Long. I hope the story is clear. Thank you so much.